Welcome to our Hanamatsuri service celebrating the birth of Shakyamuni Buddha. We will begin with Kambutsu, the verses for bathing the baby Buddha by Reverend Harry Bridge and Reverend Michael Endo.
Kambutsu Gakon kanmoku shonyorai Jochi shogon kudokushu Gojoku shujon yoriku Doshon We now bathe all the Buddhas whose pure wisdom is adorned with innumerable virtues. They remove the suffering of beings and together attain the pure Dharma body of the Buddha. Namanda, namanda, namanda.
Next, we will have Sutra Chanting of Juseige, page 22 in the small purple book and page 77 in the large purple book.
Namanda, 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 namanda. Gagon chosegan Hishimu Shigan Pumanzok Seifu Joshogat Gao Muryoko Fui Dai Seishu Fusai Shobingu Seifu Joshogak Gashi Jobutsudo Myosho Chojippo Kukyo Mishomon Seifu Joshogak Ryokujin Shonen Joe Shubongyo Shigumu Jodo Isho Tennin Shin Jinniki Endai Ko Fushomu Saido Shoujo Sankumyo Kosai Shuyakunam Kaiichi Egen Meshi Konmohan Heisoku Shohakudo Tsudatsu Zen Shumon Kosojo Manzo
sangayo nyobutsu mugechi tsudatsumi fusho gangaku erik toshi saisho son shiganya koka daisen no kando kokusho tennin touchimyo ke
Next, let's sing In Lumbini's Garden.
Softly blew the breezes on that glorious morn. In Lumbini's garden, where the Buddha was born. From the earth sprang flowers, birds in warble sang, while through earth and heaven strains of music rang. Gods, men, and animals all for worship came. Glory to the Buddha, glory to his name.
Now let's recite the three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma, now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord, in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Kambutsu, representing the Buddhist Church of Oakland members and organizations, and the Ashland Hoakai and Concord Hoakai, Reverend Michael Endo.
Namanda, 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 Namanda.
Namanda, Namanda. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for viewing this Hanamatsuri service, our special service for April. Just really special occasion. Even in the midst of the difficulties we're having now and having to shelter in place and stay at home, we can still celebrate the birth of Shakyamuni Buddha. We can still have this special service and be watching it together, even if we aren't together in person. I'm really happy to be able to do this service. It's the birth of Shakyamuni. It's the beginning of all of it for us, right? Because Shakyamuni Buddha was born, we're able to have Buddhism. Because Shakyamuni Buddha was born, we're able to learn from these teachings and try to live a happier life, try to live a life where I can be the best person I can be. And so, it's really a wonderful occasion that we celebrate with the Hanamido. We celebrate with the flowers. We even got the animals to come visit and help out. And we got to do Kambutsu. And maybe you didn't get to do it necessarily in person, but Reverend Endo represented you, right? So he did it for you. So that's another really special reason to be excited today, is because it's not just me today, it's two of us. Reverend Endo came too, and we are wearing masks when we're not doing certain things, and we even took a picture of us with masks. We're modeling, right, so that when we go out and when we are around other people, we have to be really careful. We have to protect ourselves, but then also protect others. So I noticed something about Shakyamuni Buddha. We do the Kambutsu, and that's bathing the baby Buddha with sweet tea. And if you look at the image of Buddha, right, he's pointing up one finger, and he's pointing down one finger. And this comes from the story where when he was born, he walked 7 steps, right? He's a very special baby, right? He wasn't born in the usual way, and when he was born, he was able to walk. And according to this story anyway, when he was born, he was able to talk, right? And so he points up and he points down and he says, "In between heaven and earth, I am supreme." Right? So that's a pretty amazing thing for a baby to say. I've never heard of another baby who did something like that. And so what was he saying? Right? In one sense, he's saying, Buddhism, this is the best way, right? And I'm the one who's bringing it to you. And so I was kind of thinking about that, and it's kind of neat. He's saying, I'm supreme, right? And another way to think of it, though, is it's kind of neat, because in a way, we can each have kind of baby Buddha inside us, right? Each one of us can have a baby Buddha awakened inside us. And that's one of the exciting things about Buddhism, right? That Buddhism doesn't say you have to just worship Buddha as a god outside you. Right? The ultimate goal of Mahayana Buddhism, of our kind of Buddhism, is for me to become a Buddha, for you to become a Buddha. That's pretty amazing, right? That it's not Buddha all by himself, actually. Actually, in his later teachings, he reveals that each one of us can become a Buddha. There's a million, billion, kajillion Buddhas out there, right? And even I can become a Buddha. So for me, I think as a young Buddhist when I was in college and maybe after college, and I learned about Buddhism and realized, whoa, that's cool. I can follow these teachings myself, right? That I can try and do what Buddha did myself. I can become Buddha. So that was what I was kind of thinking about. right? With the one finger, I can become Buddha. That's one really, really amazing part about Buddhism. And so if I could become a Buddha, then I would have wisdom and compassion, right? Then I could see things as they truly are, not the way I see from my limited perspective. And that's wisdom. And compassion, right? It's not only for me, right? It's to try and help others too. So that's when I realized, here we have baby Buddha with one finger pointing up and one finger pointing down. But then, if we look at Amida Buddha, right? So let's look at Amida Buddha's statue. He's actually going like this, right? He has kind of okay sign. And the hands are in the same positions almost, right? But instead of just the one finger, he's doing this okay sign. And I've talked about it before. My understanding, one is he's saying, it's going to be okay. It's okay. I embrace you as you are. Right? I love you as you are. And then Reverend Kodo Umezu, who just retired as bishop this past week and retired as a BCA minister, right? He's previous minister here at Buddhist Church of Oakland, actually. I heard him explain it as Amida Buddha wants to give you a hug, wants to give me a hug. He embraces everybody as they are, right? So that movement of, instead of just, I can be Buddha, instead, Amida Buddha is saying, I accept you. Let me give you a hug, right? Embracing everyone, this universal embrace of Amida Buddha. So we kind of see both of those sides in Buddhism, right? One way is, I want to try to be Buddha. I'm going to try to follow Buddha's teachings. I want to be like Shakyamuni. I'm going to try to do what he did. Right? I want to be like him. But then the picture gets bigger, and then I realize, whoa, it's not just me. Actually, Amida Buddha is embracing me. Amida Buddha is the one who's changing me. It's really hard to practice Buddha's teachings. It's really hard to think of others selflessly. It's really hard to put others before oneself. It's really, really hard to see things as they really are. Right? I see things the way I see it, but I wear glasses. I have my own anger and desires and ignorance. Right? So I actually don't see things the way they are. And it's really hard to do so. It's really hard to see things as they are. I still want to try. Right? I still try and realize when I'm not seeing things as they are. But it's the great thing about Jodo Shinshu is it's not just me. Right, that I'm not the only one who has to do it. I'm actually doing it with others, and I'm doing it in Amida Buddha's embrace. It's actually Buddha helping awaken me, Buddha helping show me wisdom, Buddha helping show me compassion, right? So that maybe I get a little bit closer as I keep trying to put Buddha's teachings into practice. So I know things are still difficult. I know you still have to stay at home. I know working from home can be really hard. Taking class, being in school from home can be really hard. Not being able to see your friends is really hard. I know some of you can't even see your family, right? You can see maybe your immediate family around, but you can't just go visit whenever you want. Right? But this is the kind of time when we want to try to put Buddha's teachings in practice. Right? This is the kind of time when maybe we realize, wow, how much I took for granted before. Right? Before, I didn't even realize how much wisdom and compassion and love was coming to me. I was just like, woo, whatever, just, live my life, do what I want. Now I realize I can't do that all the time. I can only do that because of others. And so, in this difficult time, when we can't live our regular, normal lives, I think we're going to complain. It's okay, sometimes you have to get that out. But also to realize how much I have to be grateful for, right? To realize, whoa, now is a time I can try and really put Buddha's teachings into practice. Now is a time to realize, oh, I'm not alone. I'm actually together with all these other people. That's the thing that kind of blows me away. It's kind of, in one way, it's scary that all over the world we have to stay at home, right? It's kind of amazing and scary. But it's also kind of amazing to think, wow, we're all doing it. Obviously not everybody, but so many people are trying. How many millions? How many billions of people are staying home, right? Trying to flatten the curve, right? Trying to get ahead of this thing. Trying to preserve humanity. right? And then when we realize that, right, the negative way to look is, oh my gosh, I can't believe everyone has to stay home. The kind of positive view is, wow, we're all doing this together. We're all doing this for each other. Right? We're all doing this in the embrace of Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion that accepts us as we are. We're doing this as followers of Shakyamuni, trying to put Buddha's teachings into practice. Right? And so I made sure when I set up the camera, I wanted you to be able to see, there's Shakyamuni Buddha, right? I can do this. This is the way. Right? There's Amida Buddha. Whoa, Amida Buddha is embracing me, wanting to hug me, right? Taking everyone in with his wisdom and compassion. So we're really, really fortunate and lucky to have these teachings. We're really, really fortunate and lucky to be able to have service, not in the normal way. You know, it's not as good as being able to come here and hang out with your friends and do all those things, but we can't always do what we want. Life doesn't always go the way that we want, right? Another of Shakyamuni Buddha's core teachings of sometimes the difficulties of life, right? And yet, in the midst of those difficulties, we can celebrate, right? In the midst of those difficulties, we can realize, wow, thank you, Buddha. Thank you, Shakyamuni Buddha. Let me give you a bath. Thank you, Amida Buddha. Let me say your name. So I want to really, really thank you all for coming and watching our YouTube Hanamatsuri service. Why don't we conclude the Dharma message with Gassho and recite Amida Buddha's name. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo.